Welcome to Between the Panels, the talk show where we talk about all the things going on in nerd culture. I'd like to open the show with paying homage to Jim Shooter, the legendary writer and apparent artist of both Marvel and DC Comics. Jim Shooter was born in Pittsburgh, PA in the year 1951 and has left us June 30th, 2025. He will be missed. We will start the show with a moment of silence for Jim Shooter. Thank you very much. Now, news wise, we have Jim Shooter's great work. We have some news from Microsoft coming out today and Nintendo. The reviews of Squid Games and Ironheart are officially out, and Marvel releases a trailer for Eyes of Wakanda. What the? I am Pev Gamer. I am joined by two of the best comic book experts in our area. And this is Comic Convo Express.
What up, brother man? Nice to see you.
Welcome back. Welcome back, dude.
Nice to see you.
You look at you getting all tan.
Hey man, I got to rep Mario Kart. Nintendo in the house because we talk video games here.
We do.
Hey Pete, what's on your shirt?
8th issue of Secret Wars, written by Jim.
The great Jim Shooter.
So, I had to pay homage to him. I'm also rocking my fuck cancer. I don't care if we can say it. Fuck cancer because,
It's a
that's how
bad
we
thing.
feel about it.
Yep.
Well, let's pull up all the stuff first.
Let's
So let's
do it.
open the show. So Jim Shooter passed away on June 30th, 2025, and I believe the
R.I.P.,
cause of death was revealed as cancer,
Correct.
Because cancer.
esophagus cancer. Thank
Right.
you. And that he passed away at the age of 73. Jim Shooter will be missed, and he has done great works for both Marvel and DC. I'm assuming Secret Wars is probably your favorite work from him.
The one that I grew up on.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about yourself, Tom?
Actually, a lot of people don't realize, or I'm sure they do. Actually, I love Secret Wars, but he actually started the miniseries craze in Marvel Comics back in the 80s. Contents of the Champions. There was a Wolverine miniseries. There was the Punisher miniseries. Was it Scarlet Witch, Vision miniseries? All those miniseries actually
his,
because of him.
Yeah,
He was the editor-in-chief at the time, too.
He was the one that spoke up for a lot of people.
He was like the first editor-in-chief to literally take it to a whole new level. And he fixed everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
I believe his first works in comics was what, at the age of 13?
13, he actually wrote a story into DC Comics, and they were like, wow, this kid's a genius. And they signed him up. 14 years old, he actually wrote a story. It was in Superboy, Legion of Superheroes. That was his first DC comic. Yep, his first work.
Imagine starting at DC and making your way up to being editor-in-chief of
14
Marvel.
years old, man.
A lot of
14.
people back then, like we're talking about like
Yeah.
57, I mean, they were starting young.
That was a
They got
minute.
their foot in the door, and dude, they created the world, both Marvel and DC, the world that we enjoy to this day. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta give him props to everything he's done, the chances he's taken as editor-in-chief,
Yep.
as a writer, and apparently as an artist too, which you brought up to me earlier. It was pretty
Correct.
cool to know that
He wrote in 1976, he wrote a story for Supervillains Team Up. It has a really nice Submariner and a Doctor Doom cover. I believe it's George Perez on the cover.
Yes.
And he actually drew,
He drew
the
the
comic.
interior.
Yeah, he
That's
drew
what's
him and
amazing.
Gil Kane. They drew the interior.
Wow.
Not easy to do.
That's so cool.
On one of his interviews, he was talking about the actual script that he wrote to DC was on an actual piece of lined paper. You know how like you get from school?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually wrote the script and handed it in that way.
That's so cool.
Wow.
And they were like, man, this is pretty cool.
Listen, how old is this guy? 13. Let's hire him.
You guys met him. We met him at the con.
Yes, at Terrific.
Remember?
That's right.
Terrific.
Shout out to Mitch. And
know.
I saw the posting that Mitch had on Facebook that he was actually going to sign him up to come again this year.
Then obviously,
Yeah.
See, that's how I
complications.
understand.
I-
I'm very grateful that I got to meet him.
Yeah, me too.
At Terrificon.
Yeah.
But he if you look behind Tommy, I don't know if you can see it on
You,
camera.
you can't. You're gonna have to explain it.
There's it's the same picture as my shirt, except I framed it and put it up there. He signed it the day I bought that, and I was so grateful for that. Plus, he signed my books and everything. What stood out to me, the fact that he was so nice to me and everything. Also,
Very
the
humble.
fact that
Very humble.
when he stood up, and I'm a tall guy. I mean, I'm 6'2". He stood up, and I actually felt like I was a midget. I mean, he was like 6'7".
He's a giant.
I mean, and I was
He's a giant.
tall for him, but you think that would intimidate me? No,
Nope.
because he was so nice.
Yes,
Just
very
talking
humble.
to him,
Giant
took the time to
almost.
say,
Yeah.
I met first time I met Jim twice actually, Terrificon 2022, and I met him back in Dream Factory Days. I don't know if you remember in the Trumbull Mall.
My God.
So he was rocking. He did a series called Valiant Comics,
Yes.
where he was
he went
the
to
CEO and the big cheese there.
Mhm.
He was doing a comic called Warriors of Plasm. But I mean, you can bring other books that you had to get autoed.
Yes.
And I met him, and he stood up, and he had this long ponytail, and I looked at him, and I said, Jim, nice to meet you. While I'm like, how you doing, sir?
He had a ponytail?
Back then.
Back then, I mean, I
this
could
was
never
you're
picture
talking 92, 91.
Yeah.
This was back then.
So
That's well over
style,
30
it was
years.
the style back then.
Well over
I just
30.
couldn't picture him with that.
So I saw him and I shook his head. I was like, Jim, you know, everyone ever tell you look like a Highlander?
he could only be.
He looks just like a Highlander. I told him that. And I even snapped back then, prior to phones and digital cameras.
Mhm.
I had a 35 millimeter camera.
Saw that.
And I said, Jim, do you mind if I take a picture? And I took a picture of him.
Mhm.
Fast forward to 2022. I saw him. Jim, how you doing? And I showed him the picture. I said, look, Jim, I met you back in the days. I said, I loved your Warriors of Plasm. And he smiled. And, we had a couple words. He told me some stories. We started laughing. And he took the picture and he autographed the picture. He handed me back the picture.
Still have the picture?
Yeah, I still have. I'm never going to sell that, dude.
I'll frame it now.
I'll take that. Take that with me to the grave. But like I said, again, a very humble guy, very nice guy. Started a lot of stuff. And the great thing about him is, again, a lot of people not know, or if they do,
Right.
he actually got royalties for people to write and draw in comics, which they weren't doing
Back then.
royally. And when he was over in Marvel, oh man, I'm telling you, he crushed it in his years, his time, and everything that he did in Marvel back in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
I'll just sum it up real quick. He again, he got royalties for writers and artists.
Yes.
Whatever was the big book, like for example, X-Men, people were biting tooth and nail to get to work on that book to get the royalties.
Right.
For example, DeMarc Silvestri's got the royalties. Paul Smith, when he did X-Men, Rick Leonardo. Oh, not only that, he discovered Frank Miller.
Whoa.
Not only did he discover Frank Miller, Rick Leonardi, a whole handful. I mean, you can go online, Google, talent that Jim Shooter found or whatever.
Mhm.
But I mean, it just goes on and on. The list goes on and
That's all
on. Again, he gave royalties to these people, and they were living large, and everyone wanted a chance. Was it Arthur Adams? He was doing X-Men event annuals.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a chance to get a piece of that pie. He said, "Man, again, great." And then his DC stuff.
Nice stuff. That's I
Amazing.
remember him blowing up, and it was like, like I was in trouble, but
Yeah. But
This was-
rest in
rest-
peace.
rest in
But
peace, man.
again, a very humble guy to me. I mean, there's stories out there where people are bashing him. To hell with you guys,
Well,
Let
it
the
was
guy
mixed
rest, man.
reaction in the comments. Because if you know him,
Yeah.
either they said he either liked him or you
Oh, you
didn't.
did.
As a fan, we probably liked him. We do like him,
Mhm.
but when you worked with him, I mean, he got the shit done.
Got the job done.
So if
That's what
he
you
stepped on
needed.
toes, he stepped on toes. I mean, some people took it personal, some people took it to betterment. So it was just
Roy Thomas used to lock horns all the time. I saw a couple of interviews.
Mhm.
They just didn't get along. Same
Right.
thing with Roy Thomas,
Oh,
the
Roy-
creator of Vision.
yeah, that's right.
Him and Chris Claremont, they were just always at each other.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was the reason because Marvel was pumping out these miniseries. That's why when he grabbed after Frank Miller did Daredevil, he grabbed him. Chris Claremont's killing X-Men. He was like, "Listen, you guys are gonna do a miniseries." Sold like hotcakes to the day. Classic.
He had the eye for talent.
Rest in peace again,
Just,
man. But
it's a loss in
he was
the
great.
comic book community. It's
Well, keeping on the theme of miniseries and things like that, everyone caught up with the news going on over at Disney Plus. But so they're making a animation short series, if I'm not mistaken,
Took
called
it,
The
okay.
Eyes of Wakanda.
okay,
We're gonna check out the trailer right now.
go for it.
sweet.
Cool. Let me pull it up. And here we are, my friends. This is
Ryan Coogler.
Wakanda is a
I love it that it's anime. You could do anything in anime, dude.
you really could. Oh yeah.
of many secrets.
Okay, cool. I have some thoughts about this.
Go for it.
Does anybody else feel that the CGI animation is kind of getting old? I kind of want
You
hand.
talk about the artwork in this show?
Yeah, if that's my only complaint, then it's gonna do pretty well. But I'm sick of CGI. I want hand animation.
Well,
again.
it's animation. It's just it reminds me of watching a Disney movie
Yeah, that
that you
doesn't.
see in theaters.
I
A
disagree.
cartoon.
But I've been having this argument forever. I appreciate the older Disney movies that are all hand animation
Oh.
opposed to CGI.
Okay.
But other than that, it looks good.
It looks good. I mean, it's opening up the doors on something Marvel barely touched upon over the years. I mean, yes, if you think of Wakanda, you think of Black Panther, you think of his sister, you think of the Hate Monger, all the villains there as well, Hate Monger and other people there.
Killmonger, you mean?
You know, yeah, Killmonger.
Hate Monger. Wasn't that the big robot in
Hate Monger's another villain. Maybe I was too confused. But
I think so.
what was the big giant from Captain Carter? Remember the Steve Rogers went into? Was that the Hate Monger? No. The original Iron Man. Was that Hate Monger?
Yes.
That was the
Was,
Hate.
is that what it was called?
I thought Hate Monger was no. That's
What was that big robot? Remember he took the Iron Man suit and he built it.
Yeah.
It's not called the Ironmonger?
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
Hate
go.
Monger's the guy who can control your anger, and he
Gotcha.
started riots in New York.
Yeah,
I remember
but
that.
Make you mad.
Killmonger's the-
Killmonger's the villain
Black
from
Panther.
Wakanda.
Yeah.
But like hero wise,
Mhm.
I think this is their way to explore. Like Wakanda's a big place,
Oh, yeah.
and I think there was more going on. That we see the royalty of Wakanda because of
Behind
Black
the scenes,
Panther.
you mean?
I think they're
Mhm.
in there has to be like the streets. There have to be like suburbans of Wakanda
Yeah.
and how they're living. And who knows who's living there and who has secrets.
You know what would be great about this?
Yes,
If they would touch on the older, like do like flashbacks or the origins of, like, for example, the original Black Panther.
The father.
Stories of them.
grandfather?
Yeah, dude, that
I
would
think
be
that would
great.
be pretty cool too.
I'd
but
like to see
we
that.
didn't see that in the trailer, but we did.
No.
see-
Oh, they're not going to give you everything in the trailer.
But I did see. Yes, but I did notice there was. It looked like they were
Whet your
focused on the Dora Milajes.
Yeah.
The bodyguards. Yeah. So there might be a story about that, which is pretty good to find out.
Yeah, even if this just ends up being an anthology of like the heroes of Wakanda, I'm totally cool.
I'm okay with it. It opens up the door. There's not going to be a comic book reference critique in it, other than the fact that we know Black Panther and
I
all
wonder
these.
if Dean Namor would show up. I know he had beef with the
He had
Wakandans
beef
for
with
a
him in
minute.
the MCU, so yeah, he might show up if they decided to want to.
Yeah, but like you said, I'd like to see them go away from just the CGI all the time.
well,
I mean, it's real quick to go to, but
Well, like I think my favorite Marvel animation, and I might catch some slack for this, but
for it.
Next Avengers and the Hulk versus those both of
Two
them,
of the animated wise was really good.
their hand animation, yeah, or even Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk was
Yes,
really good.
It's really good.
I'd like to
Animation.
return to hand animation
I do
eventually.
like the Japanese style. I wouldn't be mad with that.
Yeah,
Anime?
a little
Yeah.
anime or manga.
Yeah, that'd be nice to mix it in.
I'm okay.
Did you
with
guys
that.
get a chance to see the second Batman Ninja?
No, we
Not yet.
that one. I'm gonna see it with you.
I had a little problem with
Yes.
HBO Max, but yes, I'm gonna
Oh my god!
definitely watch
Gotta
it.
come to our house, guys. Popcorn.
Pop-
Movies on me, bro. Yeah,
You still need to see the first one, but yeah.
we'll watch
I
them
can
both.
watch them both.
Yeah, we'll watch them both.
Yeah.
We'll binge watch them.
There you go. That'll work.
But that style art, I'd like to see that.
See that over here in DC.
That'd be cool.
I mean, Marvel, excuse
did.
me.
Marvel did obviously those animated series back in the day, but they also had one for
Hunter Wolverine.
Punisher,
They did.
Wolverine, Blade, the X-Men. They
Blade
did
was
those.
sick, dude.
Love Blade.
And the Wolverine was nice too.
Wolverine's was good.
I,
I think
the X-Men one
That
too.
was sick.
what's his name was the only one who appeared familiar villain wise was Omega Red, but I think
Yeah.
Silver Samurai was a version in that.
Their
but-
version, the
yeah.
Japanese version of it. It was
But
so cool.
there was another anime Avengers series actually
Yes.
Yes,
I saw that on Disney Plus. I was like,
that came out around the
One
same
of those.
time.
Fast forward.
I skipped over.
Next.
It's funny too. I watched a few episodes. I'm like, I gotta know what this is about. And those kids are children of Hydra agents,
Oh,
and
Hydra.
they're reformed by the Avengers. And there's Deadpool makes 2 appearances. Spider-Man makes an appearance in it. A lot of the flushed out anime Marvel characters come in, and it's pretty
That'd
cool.
be dope.
Oh, I would.
Yeah,
That's dope.
Maybe I should go back and watch it.
definitely. I don't know if there's a release date for Wakanda yet. There was nothing that was
I
posted.
think it was in August.
Teaser.
I think
Is it
was
August?
August 28th.
Okay,
That's
cool.
If I saw it in the end.
Oh, did you? I didn't
Yeah.
even. My bad.
Yeah, it kind of flashed fast. I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
But I will see it.
Yeah.
I'll see it.
Definitely check it out.
We'll watch it.
Open mind. Yeah.
So while we're
It's gotta
on,
be. It's gotta be better than Ironheart.
Oh,
it's funny you mentioned Ironheart. We are going to check out the reviews. Ironheart has officially ended with its final episode. Came out yesterday?
the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, I
Yep.
thought. So the
So-
whole thing.
Yeah, wasn't a big fan, me personally, but you and I talked about it in the last show.
Yep.
So Ironheart's Rotten Tomato scores are in. The critics gave it an 86. The audience gave it a 53. Now,
Wow.
This is the series as a whole. This makes my argument. I think critics are out of touch with audience, which that's a totally different issue. I think there's some good in Ironheart. I think there's a lot of bad. I don't think the good outweighs the bad. You have only seen the first episode, correct?
Only the first episode.
Okay. I know we were talking super briefly. I'm not going to fight you on it. I just actually am curious. Like, genuinely speaking, what's the positives from the first episode for you and what's the negatives?
Well, like I said, I was going to wait until I saw all 6 episodes.
Yeah,
the last 3
that's why-
episodes came out yesterday,
That's
Yeah.
cool.
but I started watching it yesterday and I only had the first episode
Yeah, that's
in the belt.
if you're
That's
just, I want you just to judge the first
Yeah,
episode.
The first episode I actually thought was pretty good
Okay.
because it first perspective about Riri wasn't like the book.
Mm.
She just gets kicked out of school. It's just hilarious.
Well, hang on. I want you to answer my question.
Go ahead.
What's the positives and what's the negatives?
What's the positive?
Start with
Okay,
the
let's start with the
positives.
positive.
Yeah.
Positive was she's struggling to be the superhero that she wants to be to this. So there's the storyline there, conflict there after seeing her in Wakanda Forever. So she's actually trying to like be better. And she's struggling because obviously she keeps comparing herself to Tony Stark. We discussed this before. And the
She
funny
wasn't
part,
comparing. She
no,
was
she
shitting
was shitting on him. Yeah, that's what everybody said.
I guess that's
and I
comparing.
saw it. I was looking for that.
I guess that's comparing.
But I noticed every time she would shit on him, it sounded it was a jealousy behind it because Tony
Yeah, that's
could do everything that she thinks she can do, but the problem is she doesn't have the money to back it up. Where Tony not only was smart and inventive as well, he had the financials to back him up to put it together faster. Where she struggles because she doesn't have the financials to keep making updates on armor,
yeah.
other things she was making.
I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
She is a
I hear you.
genius, though.
I hear you.
I hear what you're saying.
Mhm.
There's some implications to that I don't like, but I understand what you're saying.
Like I said, haven't seen the rest of it.
Yeah.
Then I saw the introduction of the Hood and his gang, and I thought that was really cool.
Okay.
I mean, aside from the fact that he's not a white boy and everything, but he was really like presenting himself with the Hood.
Sure.
He acted like a
Oh,
like
the actor, I think the actor's a great actor.
um
I'm not knocking him.
I
I think he
actually
did a really good.
I thought that, like, but whatever they're up to, I'm all in trying to find out what it is.
Yeah,
and
I literally I just
Yeah.
want your opinion on the first episode.
Yes.
So yeah.
And it was also what I do also liked was background characters.
Wow.
The mother they focused on
Mhm.
and they made a little tweak on her, which was pretty cool. The ladies that she hung out with were kind of like ridiculous but funny at the same time.
Mhm.
The boy that she hung out with, that was the brother
Sure.
of the girl
was her-
that died in the
Mhm.
show, whatever. I
No,
don't
that
want
was
to
her
spoil too
brother.
much.
That was her brother.
That was her
That
brother.
was Riri's brother. Yeah.
I thought it was the girl
No,
that dies brother.
the AI. No, that's
really?
that's her best friend, or was her best friend.
All right. Well, and then the fact that her friend died and they give her that plot twist, I kind of liked it because they're giving us a little dimension of what Riri would do in
Okay.
that situation. So I'm still open minded. The fact that they went from where she was at the school into Chicago, the ghetto of Chicago, I was okay with it because it opened my mind. Like, this is Chicago, how it is in the bad neighborhood. That's
You're
the
getting
South
away from what
is.
I'm asking. I'm not
Yeah.
asking
Go
you
for
to
it.
summarize it.
No, no,
I
no.
just want your positive and your
Yeah.
negative.
That's my positive.
Okay. What's
My
your
negative.
negatives?
Here's my negative.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Let me think of my negatives. The negative would have been let me see, how would I say this? As a comic fan, you're looking for the characters to be just like the book. The fact that we don't have too much info other than what we know from the book, you're not getting it. In fact, they're just opening it and creating a whole new world. So it makes you get confused on what's there that they created for the show and what's actually from the comic. Like example, like I said, the changes of the Hood,
The AI. Remember in the
AI.
comic, Tony was her mentor in the
the
comic.
mentor, and
Yep.
then find out later on how the shot.
It was a
came out
hologram
first
vision.
episode.
And,
I kind of liked it, but then at the same time, it's like that means they just wrote off Tony Stark out of it.
So you don't really have a negative for
So I don't. The negative is still there. I'm gonna wait until as the show goes on if I develop more negative. But so far, it's to me it's a good start on that first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it came out 3
Uh,
episodes, which I don't understand why, but
Sure.
Let's see.
Tom, since you and I have seen I haven't seen the last episode,
I
but I've
got
seen
you.
the rest of the series. You've seen the entire thing.
Yeah.
Now, moving away from the first episode, kind of summarizing it, what is the positives you have and what are the negatives?
The positives, I didn't mind the AI was her best friend that passed, but I can't tell you more because you didn't see past one. So I'm not gonna give you any spoilers.
okay.
Me personally, and this is from watching it again,
Mm.
longtime comic book fan. I've been in the game since 1984, 85. Reading books, watching movies. Love, big fan of the movies.
Right.
Big fan of all the series, Moon Knight, etc. You name it, I watched it. I watched it, good, bad, or indifferent.
Right.
Me personally, I just feel the character's a little hollow. Me, that's just me. She's
Yeah,
very,
that's what
she's
we're
very
asking.
That's a
cocky,
good point.
and there's other ways to make money than doing what she has been doing. And you know what I'm saying? Whether it be good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be bad to make your money. There's other means to do so.
Agreed.
Get a
I
job.
agree.
Just go get a job.
Exactly.
Either whether you're working part time or you're working for a tech, and maybe what the thing is. Remember you said about she had like a suit. It was like a poor man's Iron Man. Eventually she upgrades. You'll see it. See it.
So
My thing is they should have from Wakanda. Shuri should have let her keep that suit. Me personally, they should have just kept let.
I assume that's what she got. But apparently she
But
didn't.
the goods, I think the hood that character, I think he's playing a really good part.
Actor is really good.
But those of you who did see it in the ending, oh my God. I know what you're gonna see. I know you see me here, but he can't see
I
me.
can't see.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
I got
You can't see me.
that spoiled
Yeah.
for me, and that's my biggest positive takeaway is
Yes.
that reveal. At
Yes,
the
the
end.
ending, the reveal is. I mean, I was leaning a 1 out of 10, but now with the reveal, I'd go 3 out of 10.
Yeah,
Oh,
Personally,
wow.
I just I feel Marvel should again. This is me.
Fair.
This is me.
Okay.
My own
Yeah.
opinion. We're all entitled to them. We all got assholes. Everybody has one. That's right. We're all entitled to our opinion. My thing is, Marvel should have striked while the iron was hot. For example,
agreed.
when Black
Right
Panther
after-
2 dropped, Riri was in everybody's face. They're like, oh, who's this character? Oh,
Yeah.
could be the new Iron Man. Tony Stark is gone, et cetera, et cetera. They should have dropped the series. What came out right after Black Panther? Was that Moon Knight? What dropped
Moon
after
Knight.
Black?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight?
Yeah.
Right after.
That came right
Should have dropped it right after Moon Knight, if
Oh,
anything.
You know what's funny? I was thinking the same thing. Watching the series in its length.
Yep.
I think they could have condensed it into a movie, and I
Yes.
think then it would
It
have
didn't
been
need to be
yeah.
stretched
two-parter.
as much.
And if you want to, like, if Riri's gonna have the same struggle about the Wakandans not letting her keep the armor, if she's gonna figure out how to make money, which was odd because in the show, I think it's the first or second episode.
Yeah.
This isn't a
Yeah.
huge spoiler
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, it's not bad. It's
She
not bad.
she remember when is it the end of is it Civil War when or the I forget which movie it is when they talk about the Stark Foundation grant that they get.
Yes, she actually
Yes.
missed it.
Yeah.
She missed it. She
She
wasn't
missed
there when Tony Stark, remember one of us said, guys, listen, blah, blah, blah. Everyone, you're paid for. Your tuition's paid for.
Yes, I
She
remember.
missed that.
Yeah.
She was too young while that happened.
Right.
And how did she? I thought she ended up with a grant from Stark.
She
to
has
go
the
to the
grant,
school that
she has
did.
the grant from the Stark Foundation.
Yes. Yeah, but not
Yeah.
her whole full tuition.
Yeah. So and that was really interesting to me. So I thought when that was revealed, I thought, okay, she's bitter about not getting to keep the armor, but the ideals that Stark gave her the leg up,
Yes.
and then she essentially shits on it is what
I
really
didn't like
bothers me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what burned me. That's one of my bad. And then
Sometimes
the
it's jealousy.
actor itself, I mean, she's just cocky.
I did.
Yeah.
And
I
the
didn't
first
like
couple
it.
of
I
minutes that
just
she
didn't
was
like it.
acting that way, I was thinking, why is she acting like that? I mean, like you're supposed to. They could have gotten a better actress, but that was
It
like,
doesn't really change.
And then she didn't need to burn Tony saying, oh, without his money, he's nothing. Come on, dude.
But to be fair, without Tony's money,
I know.
it wouldn't be anything either.
What did he do in the cave? Shot his crap.
Exactly.
well, she doesn't know.
Did he have money then?
No, he did not.
He didn't have
From
money.
scratch.
He didn't.
But she wasn't there to witness it
No,
or
no,
know
no.
about that.
Well,
story.
no,
she does know that story because everybody knows that story.
Yeah.
Because everybody
That's
knows.
his origin.
Yeah, the end of Iron Man 1, he
That's his
reveals.
Well,
he is
depends
Iron
on how old she was if she ever.
Yeah, but
watch the news,
it doesn't
then.
matter. That's something that's taught in school, you
But
know.
you don't think she knowing that she's going to build a suit like Stark, knowing that she's somewhat following in his footsteps, don't you think she would know everything about this dude?
I would assume.
No, I agree. I think she should.
I'm sure the
And-
news.
well,
I'm
if
just
she
saying
knew
in
Tony-
in the MCU movie,
But if she knew everything about Tony, then she would have. The respect
she should
level would
have
have been up.
gave him his flowers straight
Yeah,
up. Is
I
all I'm
agree.
saying.
I agree.
She should. She probably could have had to word it different. It's like, you know
Definitely.
what? I know Tony got banked, but you know what? If he didn't have that, man,
Do you think
he's
the
still a
word-
genius. He's
do
still.
you
She's
think the word I'm looking for is that she's bitter?
I-
Senator Stark?
well,
But why towards Stark? Stark gave her everything.
no,
No.
She shouldn't be bitter. She should be thankful.
Yeah.
But but the way she describes Tony and bashes him, it comes off bitter because he had it made. She looked at it. Oh, he got it made.
Well, that was
She
the thing.
struggles.
Well, so here's
And
the
she
thing
thinks
about
she's
it.
better than.
But she
that's where-
still built something regardless.
exactly.
But
But build something.
That's exactly the thing. Tony isn't Tony wasn't handed everything.
No.
We all tend to forget that Tony made his billions off of the war machine, right?
Yeah,
like
that
he
he
was
was
building
making
weapons, and
weapons.
selling them
Right.
Stark.
with his genius, right?
Stark.
So to almost no matter whose perspective we're looking at, the show very much throws, hey, Tony's gone. But we have to remember Tony was an entitled man who was given everything. But in reality, it wasn't
wasn't.
like that.
No, he wasn't. I think it's a perception thing. I agree with you
And
then.
even if that was the perception at the beginning of the show
Mhm.
and it changed by the end of the show, I would have been able to forgive it. But the problem is it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't change.
Until she meets him, but
She'll never meet him.
she'll
In the
never-
comics, it was very different,
unless she has a conversation with Rhodey, like down the road,
Maybe, but
because
I
he
can't
knows
see it.
Tony. He could like explain to her what he knew about Tony, make her respect Tony afterwards. As
I
of right
just-
now, she's just going by what she knows, and she's looking at through her life and compared to what Tony did, and she's either jealous
Yeah.
or bitter because she thinks she could have done better with if Tony she had what he had. The
Yeah,
problem
but-
she doesn't understand is
but that's
how
not
he
the-
got there.
Yeah.
But that's the cards dealt situation, right?
Yeah.
Just because someone
Exactly.
has something doesn't mean you're
Well,
entitled to it.
And from the first episode,
Mhm.
remember she was saying she wants faster response team. Maybe if she would build something that in case of emergencies, fire department, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I think episode 2 on spoke about her. Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Okay.
But as it goes on, P, you're gonna see one of the main reasons why she did this.
Okay.
And
So we'll find her side of the story.
Yeah, we'll wrap it. So Ironheart is available for streaming on Disney Plus's platform. You can subscribe over on DisneyPlus.com. Sorry.
I'm still gonna watch it. But go on.
Our other streaming news out of the way. So I know we saw it.
I saw it.
Yep, we saw it. Tommy, did you see the season 3 of?
to
Squid
be
Game?
honest with you, I care nothing of this.
Okay.
I see how many episodes I watched.
How many? Not even the first season.
Saw trailers.
Trailer.
I know of the movie. I mean, series. I know, characters. I know songs in there. I know, characters. What?
But you never saw it.
I have, to be honest with
That's
you,
fine.
I have no
It's going to
care.
be a you and me thing, real quick.
I will make this short.
I'm so sorry. I have no care.
So
I saw it in 2
I can
days.
sing the song, the little girl, the robot sings. That's about it.
here, let's we'll just get into it. Season 3 of Squid Games is out. I believe it
Another
finished
issue.
last Friday. So this is the series finale. Rotten Tomatoes critics gave it a 79, the audience gave it 50. Again, I make my argument that the critics are out of touch with audience. So I'll admit I really enjoyed the show. I have very
How was it?
minimal-
Is it good?
It was very
real,
good.
like,
Oh yeah.
I did at one point. I got out of the couch and I was like screaming on the TV. It's like, "Oh my god, he's gonna fall! Oh, he's gonna get hit!"
Is it English dub?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Thank God it was
And,
English stuff.
so the success of the first 2 seasons being brought to America have prompted the creator to sell parts of the rights over to Netflix. Netflix is making an Americanized version. The actress who played Hella is going to be in the American release.
She was at the end of it too.
Yeah.
I like her.
It was pretty good. I didn't expect to see it. I saw it. I was looking at her like, I know her. And she's dressed differently and she's smacking me. And I'm like,
Nice.
that's Hella?
That's her, yeah. So
I enjoyed it. I'll
Mm.
be honest with you.
Well,
I can understand the fate
okay.
of what's his name. That's probably why no one liked it. But you just have to watch the show. It's just that good.
For sure. We have a lot of stuff together. I didn't
Let's
realize
go.
what time it
Let's
was, so I'm sorry. You can check out the final season of Squid Games over on Netflix.com. You can start your subscription over there. All right. Now, let's get right into the gaming news we have. First one off the rip, guys. Marvel Rivals has revealed the trailer for their next season.
Yes.
And guys,
I saw this.
holy crap.
I saw this, dude.
Who's
You
in
just
it?
have to watch it. You
Wait,
just have
wait
to
till you
check
see
it
it.
out.
Wait till you see
You
it.
just have-
I haven't
So
seen it.
I'm gonna warn you. The company has taken some creative pieces, which is cool. It's fine. They're telling a different story.
Okay.
I'm just gonna show you the teaser trailer.
They changed anything?
Hope it's the one I saw. Yes.
Okay, Jean Grey.
That's my chick.
Seen it.
She's so overpowered.
Oh, this is her.
Something around it.
That's the essence of the
The
Phoenix.
Phoenix Force.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I like it when they merge together.
It's crazy. She's so powerful. She don't even need to do this.
For real.
She could just.
Well, without the Phoenix part, she's still.
No, I'm just saying.
Kinetic.
She could just. You know what I mean? Pete?
Yeah.
You know what I just realized, guys? This is not the trailer I wanted to show you, but I didn't realize that Phoenix
Oh.
got a gameplay reveal already. Okay, that's quite exciting. I think this was the trailer I meant to see.
All right.
Sorry.
Oops.
It's not Phoenix. You know,
It still is Phoenix, but
Mhm.
let me start it from the
Is that
beginning.
no?
Yeah, hang on. I'm so sorry.
Another comes to my Clentor.
Oh shit! Was that Hella he turned?
That was Hella that's infected
She
now.
graded him. Was it Carnage? Remember, Pete?
The circle.
Yeah, the poison symbol. Yeah. So Phoenix is the first half of the season release.
Oh shit!
Nice.
Is that Blade?
That's Blade.
His sword's on fire.
What blade is he running with? I mean, his actual blade.
We'll talk about it
It's a
after.
regular blade.
No. Why does that have fire in it, Pete?
Oh,
It's a Hellfire blade?
oh.
Why don't they give us an anime like this, dude?
That would be sick. I would watch
I
that.
like the anime for this. I know it's the game, but
Yeah, but look at that art. That's perfect.
I would love that. Daywalker.
he's
Yo,
on fire.
Yo, you took it out like nothing, bro.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Little Spider-Man.
And time will spiral into darkness.
Midnight Sun.
I mean, she's tough without the symbiote. On.
They got big things for this dude, Pete.
Oh,
Pete,
yeah.
In the Spider-Man movie, did you hear anything about the new Spider-Man movie?
Well, hang on, guys. Hang on.
Not
Let's
since
get
we
out
saw
of
him
this.
in the Venom movie.
Gentlemen, let's stay on and then we'll talk about it. So season 3 releases July 11th, 2025. With the release of the Phoenix, Blade will come in the 3.5 update.
Is that Wolverine right next to
That is Helverine. That will be one of the legendary skins.
Dakin is back. Dakin.
Is that Venom? What's the shark? Jeff? Is that
Jeff the
Venom?
Shark.
Jeff
yeah.
the
It's
Shark.
Venom.
was Venom.
It's Venom.
There's a couple different skins that will be Venomized for this season, so that's pretty exciting.
That's dope.
So I'm sorry, you guys were saying something about Noel being in one of the new Spider-Man movies?
Yes, I heard. It's all rumors. It's all spec.
Rumor. Oh, okay.
So
But
we're not.
you're saying he's going to play a massive role. And I don't know if you heard, Punisher's going to show.
Oh yeah,
That
is
dope.
confirmed.
That
was
storyline.
confirmed.
Okay.
Frank
I heard
Castle,
that.
Yes.
the guy who plays the
Oh, I'm the one who
John
told you.
Bernthal.
John Bernthal, yeah.
He's gonna be the
Bernthal.
Punisher. He's gonna be in the Amazing Spider-Man movie.
I don't know why I can't.
In 29.
That would be awesome.
Pretty dope.
Okay to see that scene.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be real exciting. I don't know why I can't get out of this. So we
Still
know
got to
that
watch the
that
accountant.
close.
We can still got to
I
watch the accountant
Don't
too.
point at the screen.
With Batman
saw
and
it.
Punisher. You saw it? It was good. You saw it? Accountant too?
Oh, I haven't seen it. They watch it
We
without
gotta
me.
watch
He's
it.
mad
Come
because we
on
saw
my
it.
house.
That.
Because, you know, P's always going on dates.
It was
I
a
know,
date
that's
night.
what I'm
when we
He's acting like he's married or something. Forget about it. Hey, Pete, forget about it.
Hey, yo.
Hey, don't forget the cannolis.
Let us see. Do we have any more?
John
Oh,
Cena.
So let's get into the whole other gaming
this
news.
thing is-
So
This too.
Microsoft, Microsoft's having some issues. It looks like they're hitting off another set of delays. This comes from AP.
Jesus.
Let's pull this up for everyone to see.
Jesus.
That's a
So-
massive layoff.
Do you mind
Sure.
just taking a look? at this?
Here we go. Microsoft says it's laying off about 9,000 workers. Its second mass layoff in months, and its largest in more than 2 years.
That's crazy.
The tech giant began sending out layoff notices Wednesday that hit the company's Xbox video game businesses and other divisions. Among those losing their jobs are 830 workers tied to Microsoft headquarters in Redmond, Washington, according to a notice sent to state officials Wednesday. Microsoft said the cuts will affect multiple teams around the world, including its sales division, part of organizational changes
Wow.
needed to succeed in a dynamic marketplace. The company won't say the total numbers of layoffs, expect that it was about 4% of the workforce it had 4 years ago.
Wow. All right. So, Microsoft seems to be doing these massive layoffs. I attribute this to they overspent when they purchased other studios. They bought Activision a couple years back.
That's right.
They bought EA a couple years back. Instead of just creating their own studios to make video games, they're buying video game companies, and this is the fruits of their labor. I feel. My heart goes out to everybody that lost their jobs. And yeah, you guys have any thoughts on this? On Xbox closing down and stuff?
If you buy a video game company, like you said, there's multiple video game companies, you keep going. You keep it fresh. Whatever
Sure,
that
yeah.
it sold, how it sold so well, you keep it going. You don't expect to buy it
Mm.
and expect to just do it automatically. You have to participate and making it better, especially if you bought it as part of your own empire. So I think that's where their downfall was at.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It also probably doesn't help that. So, like, Tom, you probably feel this a lot more than I do, right? Sony has a better way of putting out exclusives that sell with a console, where Microsoft hasn't had that in years.
in quite some time. Like the 360s, they dropped.
For real.
I haven't heard of. Well, Xbox One's had a couple like Halos and stuff like that.
That's true. I think the only reason why I had an Xbox One was
Years.
oh no, wait. I didn't even think Gears 4 brought
No?
me over. I think it was
GTA.
no, because GTA is not exclusive. What the hell did I buy my Xbox One for? Honestly, I think it was to go back and play the 360 games after my 360 broke.
Gotcha.
So I
In a
can't-
Blu-ray player.
and the-
And the
well, my
Blu-ray-
PlayStation was cheaper for a Blu-ray player.
Yes.
And a PS3 as
everybody
well.
did that.
Yes.
It's a good way to save money on it.
Well, yeah, when you really think about it. But yeah, what about you, Tom? What do you think?
I just think, like I said, hearts go out to all those people that lost their jobs. Hopefully, they had a plan B or something in the, on the back burner. But it's tough, man, because they spend all this money, like you said, on buying like little off-branch companies and other divisions and stuff, and they don't see the longer picture. They're seeing money right now. Here's what we're making. Here's the hottest item now. This is the flavor of the month. This is the new game dropping, et cetera, et cetera. But
Definitely.
it's tough. That's not only with Microsoft, that's with other companies too. They do that. They tend to, put all their cards on the table without holding a couple aces up their sleeve. So,
Definitely.
but it's tough. Like I said, hopefully those people have plan B or they can figure out other companies to jump to Sony.
Sony, yeah.
Come over Sony, they'll use you.
They sure
Yeah,
will.
they'll probably buy you out. You never know.
Actually, speaking of that, that brings us to our next point. So we don't want to make it all negative about Microsoft.
I saw that.
So
I saw that.
PlayStation Studios and Arrowhead are teaming up with Microsoft. Guess what, guys? Helldivers 2 is about to come to the Xbox.
Nice.
Yes, the massive multiplayer will release on the Xbox Series X and Series S console August 26th. You can pre-order it today. This is massive. This is massive. Helldivers 2 has been this super big multiplayer game from Arrowhead, which is a company of PlayStation.
Right.
PlayStation and Sony have been working on this game. This game has had a lot of love. It's had a lot of hate. It's back to love. There's invasions. It's all real time, and you can play with up to 4 of your friends at a time and help Super Earth dominate the universe. Sorry, I was going to say the Empire.
Wrong game.
But PlayStation and PC currently can play together. With the Xbox coming in, there will be one server for all 3 consoles. What do you guys think of this news? I think this is pretty
Great. Yeah.
When you got Sony and PlayStation working together like that, it's massive.
And PCs too.
and PCs, and now Microsoft's in on it.
I like that it's cross-platform. That's really
Xbox
cool.
is in on it too. So hey, Microsoft, hang in there.
And I think Helldivers has been out on the PlayStation for about a year now, so it's nice to see them working together with
Workforce.
Xbox. Xbox has been putting games on the PlayStation, and mine as well. We give them something back too, for us PlayStation fans, to give the Xbox some games too.
Did you speaking of Xbox, did you hear about the Apex? They're shutting their servers down.
Apex Legends,
Yeah.
getting their server shut down.
That's what I heard.
Really?
Say eventually, soon, really soon. I want to say
Are they launching a second one? A second
July 2026. I heard, but
Wow.
I'm not sure. But, I mean, I'll have to fact check it. But I did see that. I did see it somewhere, and I was like, "Oh my god, this game's been out a minute."
Maybe I wonder if
2019, I believe it dropped.
yeah, I think you're right. I wonder if that has to do just with the industry.
Layoffs in general.
Yeah.
Probably,
Or I bet you because yes, it is.
probably took a
EA.
hit.
Yeah. All right, we have about 10 minutes left. Let's go into
This one's a big news.
I think we're gonna move into the gaming and then we'll finish off. We're not gonna talk about this one for sake of time. So Game Rants has reported up on this. We want to talk about this. The Nintendo Switch has been getting a lot of love. This report came in today from Game Rants. Do you guys want to or one day ago, I'm sorry.
It says Nintendo Switch 2 sales have now officially hit the 5 million mark, as previously reported on the game company website. As that figure appears to have originally been posted in error. Fake news. However, one financial analysis with ties to Nintendo expects that when the launch month numbers are officially revealed, they will show that the Nintendo Switch 2 not only meets that sales figure, but surpassing it.
I'm sure that is true. I think the only reason why not everybody has had a Switch 2 off rip Nintendo fan wise is because of the supply chains issues.
Yeah.
Now, Nintendo's been getting love on this console and flack back. What do you think, Tom? I know you're really excited to talk about this.
Brazil is hitting them with a lawsuit.
Brazil.
Yeah,
Sure, Brazil.
yeah, right. They say, "Thank you, Nintendo. Listen, seeing you guys are, the big cheeses out there. You guys keep like crapping on everybody, suing. So guess what? They got a lawsuit going against them because about them breaking systems.
Oh, the terms and service update?
Yes,
That's
and they're
right,
saying
man.
that you people, KP, you brought this to Nintendo. I mean, sorry, Switch 2.
Mhm.
Oh, we're leasing it to you. You don't actually own it. So if you do anything funky with this, we're breaking it. Not only that, a lot of people, I don't know, guys, search the net. You'll see it's all out there. Go to YouTube, etc.,
Oh, yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Type in banned consoles. You do anything weird with your console, like bring over games from one system to the next, boom, you'll get banned. You can still play your system, but it's not brick. But again, toying with anything, Brazil's got a massive lawsuit going against Nintendo because of that.
I wonder if other countries are going to follow suit because I can't think of
sure. I'm sure.
I really can't think of anything outside of like maybe the medical field where you pay for something, but then you're really just renting it, or
Yes,
you're
pretty much.
just buying a license.
That sucks. I mean, all the other previous consoles, you buy it, it's yours. You
I
own it.
know, you own it.
I mean-
That's how it should be.
I mean, you really shouldn't be tinkering around with it, but
Yeah,
you
but I
know.
think there's a big difference, right? Like when you tinkered around with the first Nintendo Switch, it just you're banned from online. You can't play with people,
Correct.
but it's still your console.
Same thing with the Wii too. You do anything funky with the Wii back then?
Yeah, or even
Mine too. I know people who did play
Yeah.
with the Wii U and they got banned.
that's true. Like that part makes sense to me, but
Mhm.
to break a console,
That's
really?
crazy. Dude.
That's a little excessive.
That's crazy. They got
I
an
think the
error.
temptation of going online with these games, and people like to say, "Hey, this would be better if we did something else to it," and that's where the takeaway begins.
And then not only that, the secondary market, you got to be really cautious if you're buying anything like, say, eBay or
Oh, yeah.
Amazon,
Oh my god, yeah.
because you're getting a brick console. There's not really much you can do other than try to get your money back or something. It says
when you do it,
these brick consoles will display an error code 2124-4408
You're
and
never.
wouldn't function at all.
That's crazy, man.
That
yeah.
sucks.
So you could get robbed just by going on YouTube to get that. It's just not worth it.
So did you hear about Halo? They were laying off the layoff. It
you also
says right here,
see-
Halo Studios reportedly to hit a Microsoft layoff. Yeah, there you go. One of their studios is being Halo. The creators. of Halo.
343.
I believe so. Yeah.
So that's going to be big of the layovers. We'll probably
Well,
hear about something.
Yes.
We'll probably have to
tomorrow.
follow up on this for the next week's episode. The following
Yeah,
episode.
we'll follow this info. You guys will see it. We'll get it out to you as soon as we can. For
Could be
sure.
late breaker, could be fake news. We're not sure, but we will find out. We will get
Well,
back to you.
It probably. I bet you, even if it's because they've laid off 343 before.
Yes.
They went from. I forget what the number was back in the day,
Mhm.
but when they cut down when the Xbox One came out, it was tragedy.
Yep.
Next thing now, we're gonna finish off with comic book news. Actually, so this has been a ongoing issue. This comes from Bleeding Cool News. You want to read that title for me?
Sure. It says Dynamite owed $1 million by Diamond can't make payroll next week. At the end of the day, Dynamite Entertainment filed paperwork with the U.S. bankruptcy courts regarding the Chapter 11 bankruptcy of Diamond Comics. Now,
Diamond
This is-
Comics
this
and
is-
Diamond Distributor.
Distributor.
Right?
distributor, yes, they're both the same.
Yeah. They went out of business.
They went bankrupt back in, I want to say earlier this year. I want to say February. They were going bankrupt, and because I guess right after the pandemic, it literally had to shut down, and Marvel, DC, and other comic companies had to go elsewhere, and they ended up finding other ways to distribute their books. I know Marvel went to Penguin, DC went independent and got somebody to distribute. So when the pandemic was over and Diamond started running again, they kind of like Marvel and DC kind of like
moved away.
moved away from them.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then little by little, I mean, Image was still there, but Image is also trying to get away too. And then Dynamite was there, but I guess what's happening is they went bankrupt, got a new buyer that didn't go through for the bankruptcy. Another buyer stepped in. They ended up buying Diamond. Was trying to bring it back. It failed. They decided to also file for bankruptcy, so it goes back into bankruptcy. And then it kind of got confusing after that. It basically said that they had to liquidate, in order to pay back for the money that was owed to all the comic book companies. Well, the stuff that they want to liquidate were the comic books that they were getting from these comic book companies, and they're trying to liquidate what should have been theirs. So that's why this lawsuit came into place. But
We don't have to go into too much
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
detail because there's legal stuff.
there's
that
still
actually
legal
go
stuff
into
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I was more concerned about when Diamond went bankrupt, I'm going to get a comic book, but just like what they did during the pandemic, they still got them out.
Yeah.
But
They found
the
a way.
smaller companies, the smaller comic companies, I'm a
Yeah.
little nervous for because they were dependent on Diamond.
You know what's so funny too? I'm surprised that in the 2020s, even the 2010s, I'm surprised Marvel and DC as the big two didn't start like in or first partying their delivery system. I'm surprised they were still going through a distributor, and maybe it makes more sense for companies like Image or when Dynamite was around.
Small press, yeah.
Well,
Dark
they
Horse.
tried over the years.
Dark
I think
Horse.
Marvel and DC both tried separate times over the years to do it.
Yep.
And then they end up going back to Diamond at the time because it was complicated situation. They didn't know nothing
Well,
about
I mean, DC stuck with it. I'm surprised Marvel
DC ended
hasn't.
up sticking with it, and
Yeah.
Marvel ended up finding a separate one.
The Penguin, yeah.
Penguin. So
Which I don't know if that necessarily is all that. Yeah. Like when I think of
a lot of comic shops still has issues with
knew you were gonna say that.
the way they get distributed.
They do sell issues.
Yes,
Sorry.
they got
You said
they
got
sell issues. They got issues.
They got issues.
Pause. But I just it was very nerve wracking. We still get our books. Are these other publisher companies that
I'm
distribute?
so sorry to interrupt you
Yes.
too. But even now, like you can go to Marvel's website, and if you want a physical comic book, you could buy it from their website,
Yes,
or
which
you
is
get it
good.
digitally, which a lot of people have moved towards. I mean, I like having a physical comic book in my hand. I like everything about it.
Of course.
I'll read digital just for the convenience, but I'll still end up buying the issue physically because I want it.
That's
And
fair.
maybe that's bad. Maybe that's a green thing. I don't know.
That's how I feel too. I
I've
feel
had-
the same way.
I'm more of a if it's in my hand, it's perfect. Digital is like you have to like.
I mean, if you're on vacation, you got some digital books.
Oh,
right?
dude, if I'm on vacation, like I have
Pull
been
out
on
an
vacation,
iPad. do
I'll
your
take
thing.
a stack of comic books
Yeah.
with me. I'll take it with me.
Yeah, I
I'll
don't
read
want
on
to
the
risk
beach.
all them though like that.
You know?
I'd rather if I'm going
Yeah.
out.
I did that one time. I went on vacation, had a backpack full of a couple books.
Yeah.
Of course, it rained and it was up on top of the car.
Oh,
Destroyed
You
the
got
book.
protected, man. You got protecting your bags, man.
There's only so much a bag and a board can do for you, brother.
I never had that problem.
And if it's pouring, dude.
If it's pouring, you
We
got
had a
to a
tarp, but
different
it still
vacation, man.
it leaked through. Now, well, Florida.
Yeah, I'm about to say, what are you gonna do?
covered.
Yeah.
Every other day it rains. Every day it rains.
I'll read inside.
Tell Thor Storm, cut it out. What the hell are you doing? Knock
Stop
it
doing
off.
your anvil.
Knock
You
it
got
off.
to tell them to
Thor.
stop. That's what you got to do. Tell them bring back the sun.
I said, please stop it.
All right, yeah.
Everybody to each his own. I'm not. Yeah.
For sure. We've come to the end of the show, so thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
We'll
Thank
be back at the time of this recording, 2 weeks, and we'll see you guys for more Between the Panels. This has been Between the Panels. I'm your host, Pev Gamer. We got to my left, the Marvel fanboy himself, and to my right, the Cosmic Kid. Guys, say goodbye.
See you later. Hit like and subscribe to us on YouTube.
Deuces. Thank you guys. God bless.
God bless.